Okay, let's go to work.
I'm sorry. All right. Hi, I'm Janie,
And I'm Dan.
and we're Achieve the Lifestyle.
And today we want to talk about what are we going to talk about, Jenny? We're going to talk about shortcuts in achieving health and fitness goals.
Right.
And then I think we can wrap that up with a conversation about the intersection of healthcare and fitness and where you almost find common ground where you
Right.
have to work together.
Yeah, which is not happening
No, it doesn't happen, but
often.
but people
Right.
that are more in tune with what's
Right.
happening and with what people actually need to solve chronic issues
Right.
have that conversation more often than not, I think.
Yeah. So, where do you see? Because I'm in the medical field, so I can spout off a bunch of different shortcuts that I see. But since you're not in the medical field day after day, what are shortcuts that you're aware of? We'll start with those.
Shortcuts that I'm aware of
Mhm.
but here's the thing, shortcuts that I'm aware of that are kind of backed by the medical field.
Right. No. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
medical weight loss is the first one that comes to
Right.
mind. So what is medical weight loss?
Right. So medical weight loss is going to be drugs given to facilitate weight loss. So there's drugs out there like Phentermine that just suppress your appetite. There's drugs. Hot topic right now is Ozempic, which is a marketable type 2 diabetes non-insulin injectable that can also facilitate weight loss. So some people who do not have diabetes are being placed on this drug for the weight loss benefits only. I think another drug similar was rebranded as a different name. I think it was Victoza was rebranded as a Saxenda, so same thing. So, and then there's a lot of drugs. Contrave, same thing, can suppress the appetite. And just some other things. A lot of drugs are not can't think of the right word, not labeled or off-label uses for weight loss, and a lot of those are being handed out for people.
HCG diets too.
Oh
I'm
my
sure
God,
somebody's
HCG
heard of
diets,
an
yeah.
HCG diet. And
I actually
all these,
worked at a practice that wanted me to promote it, and I absolutely refused.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and let's put it in the context. Like a lot of those drugs that you're talking about are like type 2 diabetic type of situation.
There's two of them that are type 2 diabetics. The other ones, they have nothing to do with diabetes, but they all work on, in some shape or form, suppressing the appetite. So it's just suppress intake of food.
Which suppressing appetite is fucked up because it gets you into a point of caloric restriction, but is it too much? Because you still need to eat for proper bodily function, health, metabolic function, hormones, get your hormones working the right way. Your sleep could be fucked up if you're too calorically depleted, and now you're in this circle where you're not sleeping well. Yes, you're losing weight, but is it really worth it when your sleep gets fucked up and it complicates everything else that your body has to do?
Right. I've also seen people been placed on metformin to facilitate weight loss
without being diabetic
or pre-diabetic. But there is some gray area there because they may have PCOS or pre-diabetes. But I have an issue with that because that's a different shortcut. I remember being pushed at some point in my career by endocrinologists to prescribe metformin for prediabetes so that they don't progress to diabetes. The catch is that metformin is a diabetic drug, so you're giving them a drug for diabetes to prevent diabetes. But my issue with that is that we're missing, with all these drugs, whether it be for weight loss, to prevent type 2 diabetes, we're missing addressing the root cause. And so we're giving the drug so the patient sees a number on the scale go down, but their overall health, metabolic function doesn't get better. And so what are we doing?
And that's a conversation that I tend to have a lot too as a trainer, where it's like, yes, losing weight is good, but one, we're looking more for body composition change versus just pure weight loss. And we can get into the conversation of muscle mass and how it's actually beneficial to long-term health, and how being depleted of muscle just to lose weight is actually going to be contra, and it's going to work against you in the long run.
Mhm.
So that's we'll touch on that here in a second, but there's this, just, like I see it a lot with people that are going in for bariatric surgery or something like that,
Right.
where it's
That's
like
another shortcut.
yeah, exactly. The thing, when you want to get referred for bariatric surgery, they might tell you to, and for bariatric surgery, people that don't know, it's, the procedure of kind of decreasing the stomach to promote weight
And
loss for
there's three
people that
different
are,
ones.
yeah.
There's a band, so
Hmm.
you like, yeah, there's a band, so it pinches off part of the stomach. There's where you cut off part of the stomach, so the
Oof.
gastric sleeve.
That's intense.
And but the most intense one is the gastric bypass. So you bypass the majority of the stomach,
Yeah,
or the whole stomach. I can't
when
recall at the
these
moment.
people go in, because I've seen them, some of them come to the gym or come looking for training in some way, shape, or form, which is good,
Mhm.
but they're thinking of it in this very short term thing where it's like, I need to lose 20 pounds so that I can have the surgery because they're too heavy for the surgery.
Right.
And in those instances, they get prescribed these obscenely calorically depleted diets. They get
Yep.
put on things like HCG, and you're only going to eat fucking 900 calories a day. And then you need to work out a little bit to drop the weight so that we can put you in the bariatric surgery. Once they get the surgery, they're done with fucking fitness and thinking about what they did and all this other bullshit because they dropped a bunch of weight. So it's a shortcut, but there's a rebound effect to that. And a lot of these people end up gaining the weight back, even though they don't have.
Now, you do have some people who utilize these drugs and these surgeries as a way to
springboard
them,
Mhm.
and then they do start to follow a life that is overall healthy. They do exercise regularly, they are eating a healthy diet. Those are people who are successful, but I would say those are not the common.
Those are the exception. They are not the rule.
So I will say that there is some situations where this is beneficial. Unfortunately, in America, we have gotten to a place where obesity is such an issue that surgery is a thing that needs to happen. But I remember, so I've been practicing for a little over 10 years now. When I very first started practicing, it was hard to get somebody cleared for bariatric surgery. Now it's like I sign a piece of paper being like, yeah, they tried exercise, it didn't work, and they're good. And then those people who do have the bariatric surgery, they are on a slew of medications after. By medications, I mean vitamins, supplements, because now you've just disrupted the body's natural way of absorbing nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
So that puts them at a deficit in other ways moving forward, and now they're dependent upon exogenous supplementation outside of food for vital things: B12, iron, zinc, vitamin D, all the other B vitamins.
And it's crazy how this shortcut situation ends up leading to complications down the line where you got this desired result, but now you created these other issues that are going to make you dependent on coming back to get more medical grade interventions to keep you going, or to keep you functioning, or to keep you, keep you alive, whatever it may be, and there's a lot there.
One of the biggest things with rapid weight loss, whether it be from surgery or a medication, is a lot of those people will have gallbladder issues. So they'll get cholecystitis, where their gallbladder becomes inflamed and they need to have it surgically removed, which I'm starting to see stuff now about how removal of the gallbladder can cause gut biome issues. And we know that the gut biome dictates a lot with our immunity and things like that. So,
yep. I also like not getting as medical, like observationally from the fitness side of things. People that do crashes, you're going to pay for it later.
yeah.
The end. You go on this super calorically restrictive situation and you pop the little HCG drops and it suppresses your appetite and you're only living on 900 calories a day. You drop 20 pounds, boom. You feel good about yourself for about a month or so. You try to eat normal again. The rebound is real. So let's say you went on this crash diet to drop 20 pounds. You lose the 20 pounds. When you rebound, you gain 30.
Yep.
And now, these numbers are arbitrary. It doesn't mean that that's what happens every single time, but there will be a rebound effect from that, and you're going to gain more weight. That weight tends to be more stubborn because now you've shut down your metabolism to a point where the body is going to be reluctant to ramp back up to start burning those calories so that you can come back down. It's crazy how the body does that. I mean, super predictable thing here that will happen. If you crash diet, you're going to lose it, then you're going to gain it back with a little bit more. And if you stay in that vicious cycle of, oh, I need to do this diet that worked last time to drop this weight, and then you keep going, next thing you know, you're not 20 pounds overweight, you're 40, 50, 60 pounds overweight, and you're screwed. And you chose a shortcut that actually took you the extremely long way around and created other issues down the road, with you might have gotten yourself into some type 2 diabetes situation. You might have given yourself a thyroid issue. So it just creates more complications. You can't sleep, and we know what happens when you can't sleep. So it creates a slew of other issues that it's just not worth it when you look back at it. And when you decide to do the right thing, I see this one a lot too. It makes doing the right thing even harder.
Yeah.
Because you have to, your first instead of setting a foundation, you got to go a pre-foundational thing, which is going to be healing from all the damage done from the shortcuts. Then you can go foundational, and then you can start seeing results.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people don't like the healing phase because it's not aesthetically pleasing all the time. Per current societal demands.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest issue with me with shortcuts, and I'm going to say that term to include medications, surgeries, things like that, when they're not critically indicated, is that we're not addressing the root cause of issues. And we've hinted on that, where like people who get bariatric surgery, they gain the weight back. People who go on crash diets, they'll rebound because we aren't informing, and I say we, I mean the medical field, medical professionals aren't informing people as a whole on how to optimize their health. And so to me, that's concerning, because how many medications could we take away from people if they had a healthier lifestyle, had good stress management, exercised regularly, drank enough water, ate good quality food, and slept well? I mean, it would be a lot. And the science is out there proving that people who have, specifically with type 2 diabetes, people who are pre-diabetic, that a healthy lifestyle is more effective than metformin. But that's not the norm when you go to a medical facility that you're going to be coached on lifestyle. I mean, I'm sure it is happening some places. I hope it's happening some places. I try to do it. But a lot of people come in, in the Amazon Prime current way of life, and they're like, give me this drug to help, give me this drug to help. And it's concerning, because we're just creating the need for more medications in the future. So if we never address the lifestyle, we do so minimally, and you have a patient who's reliant upon a medication to make their labs look better, because really that's all, medication is making labs look better. Awesome. But you still are shit for health otherwise. What happens, 10 years down the road when you still with your unhealthy lifestyle? Well, now this medication isn't as effective anymore. We need to change or add on. And so now we have polypharmacy in a lot of people, which can lead to complications by drug interactions. I didn't remember, did I take my drugs? Oh, I take them all again. All these things. So we're just getting into this evolution where shortcuts, where we think we're helping patients quickly, is leading to bigger issues later on in life.
I think, and it makes me think like, instant gratification is a thing, and people want instant gratification. We all have some desire in some way, shape, or form for instant gratification. That's human nature. However, what are we doing to ourselves when everything is this pharmaceutical intervention, and none of your options that you create for yourself look more like, I'm going to take the simple, which doesn't mean that it's easy, approach here, and I'm going to start walking more. I'm actually going to get in the gym. I'm actually going to, spend some money on a coach or a trainer or an exercise program and a gym membership. And I'm going to invest some time into actually adhering to this. I'm actually going to get some nutrition counseling, all these other things. So what I'm trying to say here is, why is it so attractive to just go for the pill, even though the pill, quote unquote, has all these other side effects? Are we not informing people enough about the complications that may arise in the future from taking the shortcut? Are we on the other side of the equation, the Fit Pro, not is there a disconnect with the way that we're trying to convey to you that it might behoove you to move your body more and pay attention to what the fuck you're eating? Or is it this inevitable thing that people just are in this space where they really don't care and they are fine, making the deal with the devil, so to speak, to get something now?
Yeah. So I think it's a combination of it, right? I mean, for example, look at BBLs.
Ooh, girl, you gonna get controversial. Yeah.
Well, no,
Talk
you
about
could
BBLs.
get Insta booty, right? Or you could invest time at the gym, build up that lean muscle mass, build up that
Eat a caloric surplus so that you can
and
grow muscle.
build a butt, right? It's like build a bear, but build a butt.
Build a butt.
You can put like music in it and stuff. Anyway, um, you could do that, and then, but that takes too long, or that's not now. Or I think a lot of people feel that they're in what how do I want to say this? They're conditioned to think they don't have time, right? Because of the demands of work, kids, school, whatever.
I gotta tell you though, if you think you don't have time to work
No,
out,
no,
but
no,
you got
but
time for a BBL, you're fucking sick in the head. Because
yeah,
the amount of time that you're gonna spend out of the equation, you can't even sit down for 6 weeks after you get the fucking thing.
yeah, and it is concerning because with BBLs, just the transfer of fat is, if that the surgeon, and it's not their fault, but if they go like a tiny bit too far, you can get a fat emboli. So we're talking about pulmonary embolism, aka blood clot, but it's not blood, it's fat that goes into your lungs and inhibits your breathing, could go elsewhere too. So it's all very concerning, and it's a very dangerous procedure. But living in South Florida, we
See
I
it
see
all
it
the
every
time.
day.
Now, I need to beat up on this because I trained a guy the other day in one of the group classes I do, and he is in fellowship for plastic surgery. And I jokingly said to him, like, "Oh, you're gonna make that, you're gonna be slanging BBLs," and he said no, that he wasn't, because there's so many complications arising from these procedures that they're actually thinking about outlawing the procedure. And that's a lot of business for a lot of plastic surgeons right now. It's a hot thing to do.
And they charge a lot for it, and rightfully so, because it is such a risky surgery.
Yep. And moreover, now you're putting your life on the line for
and for what?
Yeah, for something that it really doesn't, like, let me give you the biomechanical, like the ocular pat down from somebody who sees bodies and can, hey, this bodily function, muscle here, muscle there. Fam, when your butt's that big and your legs are still skinny, there's no scenario in the body where you're gonna just grow a butt that big and your legs are gonna stay skinny. If you're training your butt, you're training your legs by default. So your legs are gonna grow as well. And it just doesn't look good when it's all there and the legs are super. Come on, man. Like, you're not fooling anybody. So why do we choose this? Why do we do this to ourselves?
Right. But right. And it's because they want that instant gratification. They want that look, that appeal. And I understand it. Me being a woman in the US today, I have considered, breast implants at one point in my life, because we're just told you are more attractive, you will be better if you have big boobs in proportion to your shoulders, your chest, your waist. If you have a butt bigger than proportion to your waist, and all these things, and it's hard work to get it, but when you work for it organically, you reap so many other health benefits. If you obtain it surgically, you acquire so many
health
other
complications
risks and potential complications.
And there's the health benefits, which would be the tangible aspect. And then I say, when you go in there and do the work to get this, physique or whatever, you get the health benefits from it. And then you also get these intangibles that I always like to talk about when you choose to train and you choose to pursue a healthier, more capable version of yourself, which is a character development thing that happens when you go to the gym and put in some work week after week, day after day. You discipline and like working towards these things that are of value in the long term of your life, that you can't necessarily put your finger on it. Confidence that you build from doing hard fucking work, not fake confidence that you pay for. So it's something too that I always like, hey, you get so much more on this side, even though it might take you longer to get here than you do on this side with the shortcuts, because you skip the stuff. This is a total package, and then this is just the one thing. I just
Yeah.
want to look a certain way, and when I get there, I don't care about all the other complications that might arise versus this. It's like, I'm gonna get there. It's gonna take me longer, but I'm gonna get a whole bunch of other stuff like dividends and little extra credits
Yeah.
for adhering to that process.
Yeah, but I think the whole point is that whether it's pharmacologically, surgically, we're just, as the medical field is just missing completely on enforcing a healthy lifestyle, not enforcing, promoting a healthy lifestyle for people. I mean, we're talking China if we want to enforce a healthy lifestyle. Like, get your ass out of the house, you know?
Yeah.
But so to me, it's almost like every medical office specialty, whether it's primary care, gastroenterology, dermatology, everyone should have somebody there, or it shouldn't be incorporated in the general practice to discuss lifestyle. Because you give me an issue, and I will tell you how lifestyle can prevent it and or improve it. For example, you mentioned like eating a significant caloric deficit. One of the symptoms of that is constipation. So big thing, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, diarrhea, constipation. Our gut biome is very our things in our gut is very similar to things in our brain. So you can't tell me that improving somebody's stress, improving their sleep, improving their day-to-day lifestyle and their mental mindset, that their physical symptoms regarding the gut won't improve. I want to be shown that that's not going to happen. So, or that
we don't even give it
happen.
the opportunity.
Right. But yeah, we don't even give the opportunity. I have seen one dermatologist but he was from Germany, who a patient came in with a rash and he gave her information on stress management and because that can manifest as a rash. And it was the first time, and I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
And he wasn't from the US.
Something like acid reflux too, where if you don't start talking about what the fuck are you putting in your mouth.
Right. So stress management, what type of foods you're eating, alcohol is a big thing. What medicines you're taking. So taking ibuprofen consistently can lead to that. But hey, there's PPIs can make you feel better right away.
Yeah, and then that's where the intersection happens, because it's like, okay, I'm a doctor or a healthcare provider. Then now we're kind of segueing into the intersection where fitness. Yeah. I'm a medical provider, and I see this person that comes in for, I don't know, acid reflux comes to mind right off the rip. And I'm like, I know that this mofo is eating some bullshit. So maybe I should punt the ball over to like a nutritionist, a dietitian, a trainer, and be like, get them educated, because I don't have that background and that deep a knowledge into gut health, into nutrition, into eating better and that sort of thing, and the habits that go with that. And like a nutritionist or dietitian might, so I'm going to volley over to them.
Yeah, but here comes the problem if we take a step back with current health insurance, right? Because health insurance
doesn't cover
it. Is more likely to promote the use of medications to treat things. I can refer to, so I'll give you an example. Somebody comes in for reflux. I can refer to a nutritionist, but I can't guarantee you that that nutritionist is going to know any more than I do, or is going to give the correct advice, okay, for the given issue. They may not. It's tricky.
Like everything,
just
there's good and bad.
Because insurance doesn't like to reimburse nutritionists, dietitians very well, so a lot of those people are going dependent. Now, us in America, we think that we need health insurance, and that if it's covered by health insurance, it's good, but that's not always true. A lot of times we have to step out of our health insurance and seek care from independent providers, and that may be where we're better off. But insurance isn't going to cover that. Now people are paying for the health insurance and they're pissed because now they have to pay for this on top of this. So that's an issue with the system. Okay. The other thing,
and then my question is, why would they never at least even include a partial reimbursement if you decide to go with a dietitian or nutritionist outside? But now I'm just fucking around and asking tough questions that I'm not gonna get into it, but I'll let you guys decide. What do you think of that? Because this could potentially solve your problem at the root, and they don't want to cover it.
I mean, might it have something to do with pharmaceutical companies purchasing insurance companies,
Oh,
or the other way around?
Listen, I'm just asking questions.
So,
I'm just
anyway.
a guy over here on the show asking questions. You decide, and we can get into it later.
And the other thing is, it's really hard to get through the mindset of some people. I face this a lot. So one of the biggest triggers for reflux, I'm not saying it's the cause of it, but once you have it, it triggers it, is acidic foods, tomato-based products. And, I tell people, so, no salsas, red sauce, tomatoes, lay off of them for a couple of weeks. Let's see if we can just, calm this down. What do you mean I'm supposed to not have pasta sauce? I'm Italian. I have to eat pasta with pasta sauce. And so where did this come where if our great-great-great-grandparents were from a country which we haven't ever been to, or even it's more closely, that we have to eat this way, even at the detriment of our health and the need for medication so that we can continue to eat this way?
I have something on that. Yes and no, because I think with issues like that, there's probably another issue in there, that the modern version of that food is using ingredients that are going to mess you up, versus the older version that your grandparents ate wherever was cooked with something else, was used, tomatoes from the garden,
Right.
et cetera, that are completely different in the way they hit the body.
Or it wasn't in the quantity.
The pesticides, the quantities, the additives and the preservatives, were they making that from fresh tomatoes from scratch that they went out and pulled from the garden, and you're buying fucking ragu or whatever the fuck, and it doesn't correlate necessarily. So there's a lot there. And it made me think because of that book of the Puerto Rican recipes. I'm Puerto Rican, born and raised in the island, and a former client of mine sent me a book with old school Puerto Rican recipes, and I just kind of thumbed through it a little bit, and I was looking at the cooking ingredients, and for a couple years now, I've actually been avoiding Puerto Rican food because a lot of it is fried, and just not good for you the way it's cooked. Not saying that pork and plantains are not good for you, but the way it's cooked, if it's a fried plantain, if it's fried pork, whatever, it's not good for you. So I've been avoiding it. But I was thumbing through it, and I'm like, yo, these ingredients are not the same ones that I see people cook with at Puerto Rican restaurants, or even my parents nowadays cooking with. I'm like, this is old school. They're using more animal-based fats to cook in, that sort of thing. This is older. So now it makes me think of something else. They're only using like garlic and onions and like salt to season and all this other stuff, versus, the sofrito that already comes with a bunch of oils in it that are not natural oils. So it made me think. And I think that applies the same to like Italian food, Chinese food, and all these other foods. But that's a separate topic.
Right. So I think it's a combination of medical providers either not giving information on how to improve lifestyle because it can improve this given issue and so much more, or we're not given the opportunity to because we are short on time. We are given metrics where you will, in order to receive this funding, in order to receive whatever to stay open, you have to get everyone at this level or below, whether it be diabetes, blood pressure, things like that. And the way to do that, and quickly, is drugs. Or it's patients coming in and they just don't give a fuck about their lifestyle. They're like, whatever, I just want to feel better and continue to do what I want to do. And I think in America, we've just made it too easy to have your cake and eat it too. Literally.
And if you think about it, you're going to have your cake and eat it too for now. Yeah. But future self might be dead. Future self might be extremely sick and dependent on the healthcare system. Future self might be, dealing with a slew of issues that we could have avoided if we just would have chosen the hard right over the easy wrong.
Yeah. And I think that's something we should get into more at a different time, is the underappreciation of increasing lean muscle mass. And I don't think I was ever taught that in my medical education, that lean muscle mass is a superior weight to hold. It was just bring the weight down, bring the weight down, bring the weight down.
That's a conversation that I find myself having a lot now with dealing with people that are very tunnel vision on weight loss. So that's a good topic for another day.
Yeah.
Now
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, the intersection here, like same way that I'm talking about medical providers referring people over to like the fitness side of
Yeah, I
things.
don't even
Because
know of a platform of how to do that.
well, and but the thing is, I find myself having conversations on the fitness side where I'm like, hey, maybe we should loop in a medical provider on this,
Yeah.
obviously with a little star, because I'd rather see you go to a concierge type service or somebody, like a private clinic that focuses really heavily on
Yeah.
preventative medicine that you're going to have to pay out of pocket for,
Right.
so that we can actually hit the root cause. When people are telling me I haven't slept in fucking 10 years, I haven't slept well. When people are telling me, they're presenting with these kind of metabolic disorders, and I'm like, I can't quite put my finger on it. It would help to know what your micronutrient profile is. So now we're talking about getting blood work. And that's something that the medical side obviously has to do. So, we find ourselves, kind of working hand in hand without working hand in hand. And it would really serve us, I think, serve the population at large,
I 100%
if
agree.
we really like bro hugged each other,
Yeah.
healthcare.
But
and
I don't know a
fucking-
situation where insurance would cover. There are many times when I would want to refer a patient to Dan or somebody like. I mean, for legal reasons, I can't refer patients to Dan. But there have been times where I tell people, I'm like, you need to invest in a trainer. You need to invest in a trainer. And it's hard to get people to do that because, again, that's investment of money when they're already paying for insurance and the insurance isn't going to cover this. But I think investing with a trainer is going to give you more health benefits than any medication could. The only place I've seen this done is Pat Suarez up in New York. He's a physical therapist.
Shout out, Pat.
And he's great. He does not par with insurance for obvious reasons because he doesn't. I agree he would not get the appropriate reimbursement if he did par with insurance, because he has this model where his physical therapy office looks like a gym, and he will bridge people into working out with trainers after they've progressed from physical therapy needs, but still can't just go off into the wild by themselves and train. He will bridge them over with a trainer. I think he even had a CSCS on staff with him at one point, if not still.
He is somebody, like, I've referred a lot of clients to him and a lot of friends. Like, I think I'm up to like 5 people that I know that went to him. And then I worked with him because I was having like a little knee thing. And so he worked with him, went and invested in him. And that's something where people that actually go in there to solve a problem, they're like, oh, I think in this many sessions, and I can get you out of here, get you back to what you were doing. That is very important. So
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why it costs money. You got to invest in it.
But he kind of has that. I see that model of how he treats them, physical therapy, and will bridge them. I would love to do that for metabolic issues, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, things like that. Bridge people to work with a trainer to learn how to increase their lean muscle mass, build their strength, and work out in a smart way to not further drive metabolic issues. Like, can't have somebody who has high blood sugar just go do fucking CrossFit. And so I wish we could do that as a medical providers and find a way to do that. And if we could get, and this is a wishful thinking, if we could get insurance to back that up and reimburse appropriately, I think more people would comply, more people would do it. Because in America, I think we all hate health insurance, but we have this weird trust in it at the same time. It's just fucked.
My bigger question is, do we even need health insurance, really? I mean, and that's going to be too deep.
But yeah, that is too deep.
No, my contention is
it pays for not always the.
I guess we got to separate where, listen, if you have an issue, a medical issue that can be tied to lifestyle, and your solution is outside of your medical coverage, you might want to consider the investment.
Yeah.
Because chances are, and I will bet not going to say it, I'll bet my ass on it, that the thing that is outside of what your insurance will cover will probably has a higher chance of solving your issue. Not Band-Aid, you deal with it in 2 or 3 more years because you have complications from the medication or whatever the fuck. Of, hey, we're going to kibosh this.
Yeah.
You're going to get the education you need to eat better. You're going to get the training you need to start losing the weight responsibly. So in all these, maybe it's a health coach and somebody who can counsel you on lifestyle changes to just get rid of the issue, you know? And I think that that's something that I'm not saying do this, I'm saying consider it. Take into consideration that maybe this thing that looks like a shortcut and it looks like it solves your problem right now is probably not going to be the better option, and that you might have to invest. And this is where we talk about investing with time and money up front, or in for something that might solve your problem, or investing with time and money later when you're in the hospital or in the doctor every week and you're on these rounds of medications and your life is super complicated because this chronic disease has taken over your life.
Yeah. No. And I think it'd be interesting. Maybe that's something I can post later this week, of taking how much you would spend on training annually and compare that to the cost of drug annually for any given chronic illness that lifestyle could improve.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So, but anyway, we believe that improvement in lifestyle, and if more medical professionals could bridge a relationship with some sort of either personal trainer, health educator, lifestyle educator, and if we can get insurance to back that up, I think we would see great improvements with people across the board. But unfortunately, we're in a drug dispensing world right now. So
sad but true. Yeah. So this is all food for thought, just trying to get you thinking and expanding awareness here of other options.
Can people comment on YouTube videos?
Yeah, people can comment on YouTube videos.
So if you have any agreements, disagreements, points of contention or anything, would love a discussion. So feel free to comment.
Yeah, that wraps it up. It's another episode of Achieve the Lifestyle.
Have a great day.